Hello, and welcome out to the Death Battle cast. We are the cast and crew of Death Battle. I'm Ben, I play Wiz.
I'm Sam, I write some of them.
I'm Tori, and I can't wait.
Oh, yeah,
I can't wait.
I'm Nick, and I write the other ones.
Yeah.
I also normally sit right there, so this is very off-putting.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
you're Chad.
Oh, I just noticed
Chad
that.
now.
I just noticed you weren't Chad.
We've been sitting here prepping for the show for like a half hour. You thought he was Chad the whole time?
Yeah, but he like started talking about his family and stuff like that, and Chad has
No, I
a
didn't.
family.
Just ignore
I
him.
didn't talk about my
Okay.
family. I don't talk about them.
Well,
Oh God.
well, thanks for joining us. If you're a first member watching this live, double thanks. It's awesome. We shoot this live every single Friday, and then it goes up on YouTube and screwtech.com over the weekend. And we are going to be talking about the death battle that just came out, Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man 2099. There are a bunch of questions that I found on that you guys submitted through YouTube comments and through Twitter using the hashtag DeathBattleCast that we would like to cover here later on. But first, we got to talk about the community death battle. Every single episode, we come up with a death battle idea, and we pitch it over to you guys to kind of give us your answers on who you think would win. And 2-3 weeks ago, whenever we came up with one, we had to skip last episode. We came up
Thanksgiving
with
and stuff.
Yeah, we came up with Black Cat versus Catwoman. I believe.
Right.
Is that correct? That's right, right? Yes.
Sure would be awkward if that turned out to be wrong.
Just comes up with completely different answers.
Yep.
Well, let's get straight into that. Let's just get this started. So let's bring up the first answers.
All right, we've got Delta Prime with Black Cat has superpowers, enhanced speed, strength, durability, and the most interesting bad luck aura. Bad luck just happens around her, and she has turned into weapons. Sorry, she has turned into weapons against her opponents. Say Catwoman goes to whip Felicia, she misses and hits herself. So he's saying that because of her bad luck, anything that Black Cat or Catwoman tries to do to Black Cat will just work against her.
Is that like her power?
Yeah, that's like a legit thing.
Yes.
Then we've also got Alvar Magdalinsky. Says, I'm going with Black Cat because if I were picking the Black Cat from the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, she gets her powers from the same serum that gave Captain America his powers. And Catwoman is not a master of all martial arts, so eventually I think she'll choke.
Yeah, I did want to touch on that. There is a version of Black Cat with Captain America strength, speed, etc. I don't think Black Cat generally has that, at least not in the comics. I think her power is just the bad luck thing.
That's what makes her unique anyway.
Yeah.
Everybody's got super strength.
The super strength thing I don't think is as big of a factor unless we specifically go with animated universe Black Cat, which we didn't specify because I didn't think about that when we were talking about it before. But no, that's up for debate as we're talking about this.
Right. And then finally we got Lucas Silva who says, in the end, Catwoman is peak human, while Black Cat is a metahuman who also has a cybernetic suit, enhanced strength, speed, reflexes, and additional superpowers. Themes are similar, but power level is entirely one-sided. Power level obviously matters quite a bit, or can matter quite a bit in debates like this.
Like how strong she is? Or
how strong, how fast, how quick you are with reflexes and stuff. All that definitely plays a factor.
If she's pretty much Captain America, then that's not very fair.
Captain America?
Oh, man.
All right, I am going to be looking into the strength thing or the Captain America powers thing in the comics as we bring up the Catwoman answers.
Let's see what our DC fans have to say. We have Mime Choir who says, Black Cat hasn't killed anyone before, but Catwoman was able to kill Halle Berry's career with a single movie.
Oh, no.
Fucking dope.
That's very real. Michael Rutherford says, I'm going with Catwoman. She seduced Batman on multiple occasions. Freaking Batman, the most stoic character ever created. Any woman capable of that wins, period.
I mean, Batman needs love, too.
Sure, and he's had many girlfriends over the years. Finally, we have Caden, who says Catwoman can go toe-to-toe with Katana, who can slice bullets from an Uzi submachine gun. According to calculations from the nice people at the Versus Battles wiki, this means she can strike with a force of over 900 million joules, or 0.217 tons of TNT. I never thought to equate cutting bullets to striking power, although I guess that does have to play a factor, doesn't it? Normally when we look at
I suppose.
bullet slicing and
No.
dodging and stuff like that,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't really think so.
If you're cutting
Well, like
it, though,
it's greatly dependent on how sharp the sword is.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the force of the bullet. 'Cause
definitely,
You don't.
but-
You just need to hold the sword still.
If you're
and-
punching the bullet,
you still have
then
to
there might
hold
be-
the sword against something that's moving.
Yeah,
Or
but
past the bullet. I can't remember off the top of my head.
the amount of resistance you have to hold it for just entirely depends on the sharpness of the
Wait,
blade.
wait, okay,
absolutely,
hang on.
yeah.
I was kind of looking at the powers, which maybe she does actually have super strength. So what was the exact argument? It's that
For a Catwoman?
because she's cut through bullets, that gives her
Because she's able to
incredible
go
strength?
toe to toe with Katana, who can chop
Oh.
off bullets.
Well, like real people in the real world can cut through bullets.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing.
Yeah, but not like a an Uzi follow, like full auto burst. No ninja's like pow. Like that's never happened in the
in
history
terms of
any swordsman.
speed, that's a definite like feat.
Certainly,
But
yeah.
out-
and
outputting
accuracy.
jewels, I don't know.
No.
So I've never really understood that, right? So you're like, okay, Katana can do this thing, and she can do it really fast. So that means Catwoman is automatically awesome. How does that work?
No, I. In most scenarios, I think it's just people equating each other. They're like, well, they fought once, and it was like,
Yeah,
they
like,
were
I
on
never
even
really
footing that time, so
I
she
never
must
really
be able to
understood
do
that,
everything
because
that one
you
can do.
see that a
It's
lot
like,
too. You're like, oh well, this person punched Superman and he fell down, so he has to be stronger than this other person.
You can blow up a planet.
Yeah, like
This
Superman
person
can
got
blow up
now.
a planet. And this other guy punched Superman, so that guy clearly is either on the par with Superman.
Oh, you
Or
mean
like-
it's not exactly scaling, but the comparison.
Yeah.
Of just like vague.
Sure.
This person fought this person, so that means this person should be able to beat this person.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily hold up. It depends. Like with any kind of death battle, that sort of argument depends on the situation and the characters involved.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variables, but for the most part, you can't just say because Spider-Man punched the Hulk, that means he should be able to beat Thanos or something like that.
Yeah, just because you go up against a superpowered character, that's not a feat in and of itself.
I mean, it
it's-
is, but
maybe
it's
it's an
not
act
like-
of bravery.
I
but
know. I
not-
think it's like what he said. It depends on.
going up against them is. I'm saying that's different from like beating them or
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
or doing
Well,
anything
I
significant.
think it's like super specific. Like if Ben got punched in the face.
Condiment King went up against Batman, but he shoots ketchup and mustard as his thing.
But
so-
was he able to match Batman's like speed or strength?
I don't know.
Yeah,
See,
no.
that's what the argument is.
Yeah.
That Catwoman was able to match Katana's speed.
And
So that
yeah,
gives
and
her-
that's fair. But a lot of times that boils down to like panels and stuff, and it depends. Sometimes it's like there'll be one panel where they're like, "Oh, that was quick," and then it's like the fight's over, and you're like, "Well, we're not gonna like. What are you gonna do there?" You know,
Yeah,
so-
like it just essentially if you were to think of it in like a movie or whatever, it just has a quick cut to a fight, and then it quickly cuts away. So it's like it's just a single panel of two characters fighting. Like, are they really evenly matched? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what's going on over there? We're
So if
focusing on
it's-
this other part of the
So
fight.
if it's something more direct, like Ben got punched in the face by the Hulk and he's still alive, theoretically,
That's a feat.
I'm saying, like, so that
Yeah,
means you
that's-
should be able to get punched by Spider-Man and live.
Theoretically, yes.
Okay.
I think we're getting away from Black Cat versus Catwoman a
Yes.
little bit.
Okay. So here's the deal with Black Cat's powers. So in the cartoon, yes, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was trying to replicate the Captain America super formula and tested it on her. In the comics, that's not what happened, but she does eventually get superpowers because Doctor Strange tries to erase her bad luck power, and somehow that turns her into a superhuman.
What a crappy
Bad luck.
doctor.
Yeah.
Quack. Doctor,
Almost.
like quacks.
She did lose the bad luck powers, but she eventually got them back. It looks like she's had some different variables, kind of like Rogue, where
Yeah.
her powers have changed a lot throughout the years.
That's because like Rogue's like taking random powers in.
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's like a weird power that is up for like the writer to decide how to use it. Bad luck, absorbing powers, those kinds of things don't necessarily have exact limits.
Yeah.
At all times that they can just like set and all the writers understand. But the bad luck power, super strength, super speed, generally probably around Captain America levels, probably not quite that point, maybe just underneath.
I heard that her bad luck is around Captain America's level. So bad.
Her bad luck. I mean, Captain America, well, he's got good luck and bad luck. He keeps getting frozen in ice, but he survives, so that's good luck. Okay, so what do you guys think? Black Cat or Catwoman?
I'm going to take Black Cat because she's hotter.
Oh, that's very scientific. That's what you come to Death Battle for. All right.
I'm on Torian's bandwagon.
Oh, see, there you go.
Plus the superpowers really, tipped it over.
I'm gonna say Black Cat because it seems like the Catwoman arguments, most of them were jokes, like Halle Berry's movie career and stuff like that. It seems like there's a more solid argument to be made for Black Cat. Also, she's hotter.
Wow. Okay.
Gotta fit the theme.
There's no bias here.
I think there might be an argument to make for Catwoman's intelligence and skill in manipulating
and I like
the field.
the concept that she was able to seduce Batman, but is Black Cat, and I'm gonna guess
she a lesbian?
yes, but has she ever been a lesbian? It's comics, yeah, probably at one point in time, so maybe.
I don't know, but yeah, she can't go with the. Catwoman's not like a dominatrix or anything like that, but she does have kind of.
Well, Catwoman was a prostitute
play a
in the
sexual
Frank Miller
sexuality a bit
Batman
to distract
comics.
people.
Yeah.
Catwoman was a prostitute in Batman Year One and later in The Dark Knight Returns, or she was involved in.
Oh well, okay.
And Batman
So-
paid for it.
Thanks, Frank Miller.
Yeah,
But-
Frank Miller done some stuff.
So she can't use all of her wiles to stop Black Cat, but I do think that she might be able to play the game in a way that might present an advantage for her.
Does she have cat powers like the Halle Berry movie?
Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah, because in the movies,
They had to get that from somewhere.
in Batman Returns and the
Did
Halle
they just
Berry
make
one,
that up?
Yeah, they just made that up. They just make shit up on all these movies.
Man.
You saw Justice League.
Oh.
Like all these DC movies just make shit up. That's actually a thing that they do. The original Superman movie, most of that was just made up for it. But it's been adapted into the Superman mythos in the comics as well.
I see.
Like the fucking Fortress of Solitude being like made of crystals and stuff like that. That wasn't in the comics. Not at that point.
Yeah, it was just like a mountain or something, right?
I don't really
It was
remember.
just a
but
cave.
It was.
Just a cave.
It wasn't. I don't even know if it was called Fortress of Solitude.
At what point do they make it so that Superman could fly and not just jump over buildings? Because I
That
know
was the original cartoon back in the 30s or whatever.
Yeah.
Not the George Reeves TV show, but the cartoon before that, with the original animation.
Sure.
They made him able to fly just to simplify how he got from place to place.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another example of just making shit up in
jumping,
order
it's
to. But that was more so for simplicity or because of the medium that they were working with. Whereas with a lot of these DC movies, like with Aquaman, for example, they just make shit up because they don't know what they're doing, and they just think, people watching this will like this. That's fine.
Is that what they're thinking?
That's pretty much.
We're gonna go into
That's what I
League
think.
tangent right now?
No,
Should.
no, we got a lot to talk about, but maybe later. Maybe later. We'll see.
I woke up the day after and was like, man, that movie was not good.
You know what is good though? McRibs.
Yes.
Oh,
The McRib is back, so I brought a bunch of McRibs. 'Cause
we're not sponsored by
you've
McDonald's.
Never had one.
No, I've never had a McRib, and
Nick's
I
never
can't
had a
wait to be
McRib.
disappointed.
Don't get
by this.
excited.
Austin, who's slightly off stage, swears up and down that McRibs are not good.
They are great.
You just forget that
It says
they're bad every
open
year.
to enjoy. Like you can't enjoy it
you
unless
go.
you open it.
God.
And then
Why is
yeah,
that one so soggy looking?
Yeah,
well, it's just they're squished.
Oh,
They're closer to
squished.
the bottom. So
That's-
I don't.
Why are we
I
doing
don't
this?
like
Is this the
They're
McRib
McRibs.
podcast?
You don't
Who
like
wins the
McRibs?
community battle? Oh yeah, Black Cat, because he's
I
hotter.
guess Black
Yeah.
Cat.
Because she's
I still
hotter.
think that there's an argument to be made for Catwoman, but
Oh, wonderful.
maybe we'll do an actual death battle on it.
A cat
We
brought
don't,
her back to
care
life.
about Black Cat. We care about McRibs.
We care about the McRibs now,
Look at this
apparently.
shot.
Let's get these garbage
Whichever
onions on.
camera.
Okay, so Nick, you've never had one of these?
No, and I'm
wanna
not
see
about to
this.
have these onions either. All right, you ready for this?
What's wrong with onions?
What are you doing?
I don't like 'em.
Don't strip it.
Bush.
All right,
Okay, here we go.
here we go.
The moment you've all been waiting for, I guess.
It's very flat,
The moment
very
you've
flat,
been
very,
waiting for it.
very
Just
squishy.
eat it. We got to talk about
reviewing it.
Spider-Man.
This is the most random.
Oh, we gotta talk about
This is the
McRibs.
most random thing ever. Brock is like, where the fuck they get these McRibs from?
So what do you think? First impressions. 10 seconds or less. Go.
I will finish the rest of this, and my life will go on as originally planned.
It doesn't smell great.
It's a $4 sandwich. It cost him $4 to make this. This is like a $1 sandwich in terms of quality.
Well, wait. No, it costs $4 to buy it.
I don't want to buy it now.
Not to make it.
I smell
I would. I'm saying you paid 4 times more than you needed to.
Oh,
This
no.
is.
Oh, no. And there
Hey,
goes.
I'll finish the rest of
There
this.
goes our future McDonald's sponsorship.
I was telling Torian earlier, because we went out to lunch, and I had a giant lunch, and I did not want to go get McRibs. I didn't. I was so full. And then now that I'm eating McRib, these motherfuckers so good, man. I'm going to eat this. Oh, God damn, that's good, right, Torian? Oh.
I smell it right in
Austin's
front of
wrong.
me. I guess
Austin's wrong.
Don't
These
do it.
McRibs are
Don't do it,
I
delicious.
guess I gotta at least take a
Don't
bite.
do it.
But while I'm
Your body
doing
doesn't
this,
like food.
while I'm doing this, I
Tastes
do
exactly like
want
everything
to
else McDonald's sells.
I do want to mention you should go check out the. We're not sponsored by McDonald's, but we could be sponsored by ourselves. Let's do an ad read for ourselves. You can go to the Rooster Teeth store and check out some Screw Tech merch. There's a bunch of discounts going on past Black Friday and into the holiday season. So go check that out. I don't know if we have a lower third for that. I guess not. Oh well.
Yeah, Ben.
But that's you just go to roosterteeth.com or screwtech.com, click on the store, and you can check that out. And we've got all sorts of DVDs, shirts, etc., and socks and stuff that are in the background here. That's neat. Did you guys even notice the tree with our merch on it?
Yeah, I noticed how you in that first shot you pointed to nothing.
Well,
we got socks, and it was just nothing.
Man, I'm gonna be wearing this McRib for the rest of the episode.
You gonna slather it on your
why are
chest?
we doing this? Like literally, I walk in 20 minutes before we start recording the show, and nobody's here, and I'm like, where is everybody? And then I think Brian or somebody came up to me and was like, oh, they're going to McDonald's to get McRibs.
Well,
I'm like,
I had resigned, and then they were like, come back and we'll get you a McRib. So now I'm back.
Okay. Well,
God, that's good.
before we get into, so we're gonna get into the Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man 2099 questions pretty soon. If you haven't seen the death battle, please do, because we are gonna talk about the verdict, and there's gonna be spoilers. But before we get into that, while these guys are finishing up their McRibs, let's check out some fan art submitted by you guys. We love showing this stuff off. So, and it's great to see this stuff coming in through the hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. So let's check this out. We got a couple pages to show.
Got McRib in my mouth. Hold on.
We got from Phantom 09. From Phantom 09.
He said had one of just mural horror, which is Torian's attempt at spelling Mjolnir a few episodes back. Got to get an attempt of Irish Thor in there. Enjoy, guys. I did see that one.
Hey, Torian.
I have seen that one.
Can
It's
you read?
amazing.
Can you read the speech bubble in the accent? Please.
What is it?
You can turn around behind you.
It was an Irish
Irish
accent.
accent.
Top of the
Oh God.
top of the.
It's the top of the
It's
morning
hyphenated
tea,
for your
I think.
convenience, Torian.
I know. I'm just trying to get my accent on right. Top of the morning tea. I sound like a leprechaun.
Just finish
the
this
idea.
word.
Oh, I didn't. Top of the morning to you.
Oh,
Loki?
no.
Lucky?
Loki.
Loki.
Lokai.
I like how you went with Lucky, like just.
I like how the
completely-
hammer has sunglasses on it.
Oh, dude, I got McRib all over this floor.
Mr.
I know you-
O'Hoyer.
Mr. O'Here.
O'Here.
Mr. O'Here.
That wasn't worth the $4.
Mjolnir's Irish cousin. Okay, so that's your hammer.
I love that the hammer is
coming
just a
together.
leprechaun. I love that so much.
Just swinging
Top
a
of the morning.
a leopard
O'Here.
hammer?
I'm his Irish cousin,
no.
Mr. O'Here. That's my
I
attempt
like
at an
that.
Irish accent. I
Yeah, the
apologize.
hammer has a beard. That's my favorite.
Yes.
It has
It
like
has
a little
clothes.
suit on it. Mm-hmm. It was great.
Yeah, that's great. All right, next page. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We got
Oh my
John
God,
Peter
so
Alstrom
many
striking
of
yet
these.
again.
This is great.
I don't even remember.
God.
Wasn't this a throwaway
Mike Wright?
comment?
Mike
this,
White?
This is just a throwaway comment that you made a couple episodes ago. Like, I'd love to
Yeah.
see some Irish Thor fan art.
Hey, ask and you shall receive.
ripped.
And look at this amazing art we got out of it.
He's ripped.
Peter Alstrom, I've been checking out his Twitter account. He's been doing a lot of art.
It's got really good black and white stuff.
Yeah, I really love his
the
art
harsh
style.
shading stuff.
Not
I
to be
also do
outdone,
like
Mike
that
White
the
here.
other art was sent in by Mick White.
Yeah.
Like it's on theme.
It's good.
I get where you're coming from. I think it's Mike.
I know.
Okay.
It's just because, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
McRib.
Bad
Anyway, it's
jokes.
really good art.
All right. Looks good, guys. Oh my God, we got more.
Mario Toast. In the wake of Torian's most recent display of pop culture ignorance, I decided to draw an amalgamation of Professor Ozpin and Professor Farnsworth. The end result looks more like the sad cosplay of a demented cave troll.
I like it. Yeah.
That's actually really good.
I have news.
I have news.
And Heartless Quail says, I drew this with the Bruce Timm design in mind. I hope you all like this. Was this a conversation I missed? Heartless Quail?
Heartless Quail. Did I miss something? I might have.
No one. We have no idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's
Bearded
right. Batman with a beard.
What about him?
What he would look like.
Because he never grows one because he's like got the mask and
Yeah, yeah.
everything.
So it's just got like the close shave or.
Like Bruce Wayne can
Or
have
like the
stubble,
little
but
stubble,
Yeah.
yeah.
Batman can't have a beard. 'Cause
I
then
like
he looks
the
like
idea
that.
of
Actually-
Bruce Wayne not having a beard and Batman not having a beard. So every time he puts the costume on, he just doesn't have the beard.
Well, he's gonna take off the false
What, does he have like a fake beard? Or does he literally just rip the beard out every time he has to
When
be?
he takes the costume off, the beard comes back.
We did the top 10 animated DC movies recently, and Dark Knight Returns is on there. There's a scene in there, because I rewatched it, because it's been a while. There's a scene where this falls perfectly in line with what we're talking about here, where when old man Bruce Wayne decides he's going to be Batman again, he had a mustache and stuff like that, and he shaves the mustache off, completely unaware that he did it. Like, Alfred just points out, what happened to your mustache? And Bruce is like, huh? What? And he's like, well, I guess I'm Batman now.
Well, I guess
That's all it takes.
Basically.
I guess I'm Batman.
So
I
he
love
really
that.
can't have facial hair
The
because he's gonna be
beard
Batman.
comes
Yeah.
back every time.
And with Dollar Shave Club, you too can be Oh, wait. We're not sponsored by them this episode. Okay. All right, next page.
Man, there's still more? We got John Peter. Oh, yes, I saw this one. John Peter Alstrom strikes twice again with Super Sorcerer Superior Nick. Thank you so much. Complete with Gandalf's staff, Doctor Strange cloak, and Screwtack's scar on his forehead, courtesy of Boomstick, who thought he was Harry Potter.
It's good.
Do I,
That's
do
pretty
I
good.
have a Harry Potter look
Pretty
about
good.
me? Do I have that?
Just put on those glasses.
I suppose.
There you go.
And then we got Saiyan Sam, part of the Dark Forest Poets, and with the soul of a golem in his arm, he uses the magical strength to wield the golden sword. You like gold, right?
Yes.
The sword's name is. Hey, Torian, how about you? You stand to get
What?
50 points if you pronounce this.
Yeah.
It just.
I want to hear
is,
your take at it, and then
Ed-
I'll take a crack at it.
Ed to go to God Distroposphere. I feel like I'm right.
I think it's really close.
Yeah.
The troposphere.
Yeah, that sounds pretty close. Yeah.
Do I get the 50 points?
I saw this earlier, and I really
Stone's
appreciate how ripped he made me. It's not at all accurate, but
No. You can say it.
pretty happy with it. Yeah.
Awesome. Is that the? Is
like,
that the
don't
last
tell
page?
him.
I think there's one more.
Like, don't tell me
Still
not
more?
ripped.
There's still more.
It's from Alstrom again.
Oh, man.
Alstrom striking just 5 times this episode.
This shit is legit.
It
Yeah,
is.
the
That's,
monster thing's really cool. The Torian versus math.
Uh-huh.
Apparently,
Yeah.
you don't trust math. I missed that
Yeah,
episode.
that was the last
Which
episode.
why I'm not. We
It
don't
only
need to
literally
get into it,
governs
but-
like how the world operates.
Yeah.
If
I
you
feel
want to
like-
know why Torian doesn't trust math, check out the last episode. There's literally no reason, and we could not figure it out. Like,
But then this artwork on the left here is like all of us versus different members of the Justice League, which is amazing.
That's cool.
Thank you,
love it, guys.
everybody, for all the artwork you've submitted.
If you have some art you want us to show off on the Death Battle Cast, you can use the hashtag Death Battle Cast on Twitter. We love showing them this stuff off. We love talking about it. But I think it is finally time to discuss the Death Battle. Sam, you are the writer and project lead of Batman Beyond Spider-Man 2099. You want to take it away? Thoughts on the episode? Just general ideas?
It was a lot of fun to do. Much different than like coming from Wonder Woman and Thor, where it was like here's 60 years of history. Like, you know, it's like, all right, now I'm just going back to the 90s. Like, it's not that bad. So they were a lot easier to like get a big picture on them. And I don't know, future gadgets and future tree like stuff is fun to play with, even though 2099 spends a lot of his time in modern day because of time traveling, which is really, that part does bug me about 2099. It's like, we're gonna make this future hero and we're gonna send him back in time. And it's like, what, why did we just do that? Like, what was the point?
Well, I mean, his story is kind of sort of about
Captain America.
preventing the horrible stuff that happens in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's like the original 2099 comic isn't about that at all.
Yeah.
And then
that's all future
stuff. It's all about the future and like him becoming a superhero and all that stuff. But then all the succeeding comics. That's the right word.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, all of them are about like going back in time, messing with timelines and stuff, and it gets really weird.
Because both these characters have made a resurgence in the comics in the past like 5 or so years, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, in Batman Beyond he has his own rebirth going on right now. And that was one of the interesting things about working with this one is because just like working with Wonder Woman and a lot of things we've done, it's like their comic is still ongoing right now.
Yeah.
So that, you know, is always kind of fun to play around, especially because we usually do the research over like, you know, 2 months about, and it's like a new comic will come out and you're like, anything new in this one? What's going on here? Like, so, yeah.
Yeah, then as the episodes, every so often as the episode's coming out, like a comic or an episode or whatever will come out the same day or the day after.
Yeah.
And I'm always really nervous because if something in that new comic or something in the new episode completely changes the ball game, it's like, oh no, people could watch this and watch Death Battle and say, they're wrong, but so far we haven't run into that, so that's good.
Yeah. Well, and
It's only a matter of time.
this one was interesting because just not the last one, but the 2 issues of Batman 2099, like right before the one that just came out, he had a new suit. So it was like, there's like 2 issues of this suit, and it's like, what are we gonna do with that? So, like, that was kind of interesting to play around in that exact scenario where you're like, what's gonna happen? Do things change?
Yeah, because Batman just basically, well, he finished the story arc with a new suit, right?
Yeah.
Where he kind of fought against it and
Yeah, but he
control
also
over it.
like rips it off because it's kind of evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's
Like
actually.
Venom?
No, it's just,
No.
it has an AI in it, and the AI can override like stuff like he can't feel pain in it, and he won't stop, and he won't hesitate in it. But it can also make him kill people if the suit thinks that's what's best for his own preservation.
So it's like Dr. Octopus's
like-
arms in Spider-Man 2.
No, the suit
Like
is
Ultron.
the suit is programmed for victory at any cost. Essentially.
Yeah.
That's
That's not evil.
it's
Yeah,
not evil.
but
It's
that's
just
efficient.
Batman
it's
though.
not what Batman does.
Yeah.
Batman kills people all the time.
Yeah, but he says he won't. Also, like,
But he
No, he
does,
does.
and the suit
that's
knows
the-
he does.
Batman would never pick up a gun. That suit would pick up a gun in a heartbeat if him in victory. Like,
But he did to kill the Joker that one time.
yeah, that's why I did a wiggle.
Okay.
There are a lot of stories. There are a lot of side stories and built upon stories that play with that idea, but the general Batman story, it goes back to what I was talking about with Justice League and the DC movies. The general idea of Batman is that he doesn't use those guns. He doesn't kill people.
Yeah.
But then a lot of the most popular stories are things that toy with that idea.
But he
Yeah.
but he breaks people's neck.
No doubt. And he has like he's
very
that's the thing.
rude,
He won't
but-
use like a shotgun with like beanbags in it, but he'll put missiles on the Batwing.
Yeah.
Like these lines are real blurred.
he's just like
here,
blowing
so
up cars as he's chasing them.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let Bruce do what Bruce do.
He's definitely killing people.
But that actually kind of, I think, leads to one of the biggest questions
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I saw was in the animation, we have Terry and Miguel, Batman Beyond, Spider-Man 2099, in their original suits.
Yeah.
Not in their new suits. I saw a lot of people saying, like, where's Miguel's new suit? But Batman also had a newer suit. It was technically like a prototype, but it was better.
In some
every way.
ways, yes, but
Yeah.
it also had an additional AI. Thing.
Yeah, but
yada yada.
The last story arc that we got with it kind of implies that, or more than implies, that he kind of overcame it and was able to control it.
Yeah.
In order to stop those missiles. So we didn't use those suits, or you don't see those suits in the animation. That's mostly, that's mostly just because of the time that we had to get this animation done. We spent a lot of time. It was a rough timing for this sort of thing, because going into this, when we planned these episodes out, we didn't know about the new suits or whatever. That was like, fucking a year ago or whatever. But we spent a lot of time on Ichigo Naruto, making sure we had all these custom sprites for it. Then going into Batman, Spider-Man, we're like, oh shoot, we don't necessarily have time to get all these custom sprites for the entire fight. We're gonna have to work with these sprites. So that's kind of how that ended up.
And
but we
even-
still applied those.
Yeah,
same
yeah, exactly.
statistics.
Everything from especially Miguel's new suit, which has a lot more and is been around for a while. All that data is very well included and reflected in the fight. We just didn't have time to make custom sprites to reflect the color
Whole
change mainly.
fight. Yeah,
So,
that would have been quite. That would have been a huge expense. But like it's everything still applies to the fight that we talked about in the episode. So it's not a huge deal. But some other questions that we had were okay. So again, we're getting into spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, stop and go watch it. So question is, how would Bruce and Terry know to use a flashbang to take advantage of Miguel's superior senses?
This is one that kind of once again leans back to the time constraints on the animation, but it's not necessarily that they would automatically know for no reason. It's that Terry and Bruce are very effective at going through when they're fighting somebody, finding out their weaknesses and exploiting them. And in a dream world, every fight I do would probably last like an hour because that's how unless it's something like ludicrous, like if it was Batman versus like a normal human, that fight would last a minute at most. But most superhero fights would last a long time in most situations. So it's just one of those things where it seems in the animation that it comes up quick, but realistically, since they're so good at finding people's weaknesses and like going through the entire list of like, okay, how are we going to beat this guy? Like they do it with ink, they do it with Ink is a great example in the show. How they're like
one of the villains.
It's one of the main villains in Batman Beyond, and they're like, how do we fight him? Shit, she's beating us. We need to find a weakness. Oh, it's water. Oh, it's electricity. Like they go through and they like do different things to find it. So that's just kind of their style, is finding and exploiting weaknesses. So
Plus, flashbangs are kind of standard
that's
for
the other
Batman.
thing.
That's
It's like-
another thing he does.
I was about to say, eventually the flashbang's gonna come.
he's going to
regardless.
use one regardless, and then he would notice how effective it was and then use it
Like
as,
when you watch him use the flashbangs in the show, it's literally like some of the first things on his utility belt. It's one of his first resort moves. To try a flashbang, distract him, create an opening. That's just a general Batman strategy. So there's no reason why he wouldn't, even if he didn't know that it was a weakness. It's just kind of one of his things to do. It's like a batarang. He's gonna use it. It just all depends when. Yeah, but like the
Only a matter
idea
of
of the animated fights, I know people always nitpick about the fights, like, well, they didn't show this properly, or they talked about this and they didn't show that. The fights generally are supposed to. They serve two purposes, right? One, they're generally supposed to show off some of the things we found about how the characters would interact, what weapons would do to certain characters, how certain characters would deal with being attacked a certain way from their opponent. Batman using a flashbang, it affects Spider-Man in this way. Spider-Man using webbing against Batman, it affects him in this way. That kind of thing. Then the other side of it is we just want to create a really fun, entertaining fight. So a lot of the set design and action is scripted around the idea that we want to have a fast-moving, fun fight that keeps people engaged and that is just exciting to watch. Because that's why people watch Death Battle, right? To have a fun time and to find out who wins in a fight. But so it serves multiple purposes. The idea of using the flashbang is just that at some point that would come up. So we're gonna show what it means for that to come up. Does that make sense?
I think it's a
feel like I
decent
kind of went
explanation,
in a circle there, but yeah.
Covered all bases.
Yeah, that's the general idea. So on Spider-Man's side, this kind of leads in is about the same thing. We didn't show the invisibility or accelerated decoy in the fight.
Yeah, and that's something, if I remember correctly, Batman doesn't use this invisibility either.
Neither of them use their invisible cloaking.
Yeah, in the original script, they both went invisible for a little bit, and then since both of them have enhanced vision via mainly their suits, a little bit, Miguel has enhanced vision because of his power, but he also has infrared lenses and etc. in his suits that allow him to see heat signatures and stuff. So their invisibility would do nothing to each other, and Miguel's holographic projection would be the same way. The Batsuit would, I mean, it might kind of trick him once for a second, but not again, and it's not going to do anything because his suit would be able to see that it's not an actual.
There wouldn't be an infrared signal or anything like that.
Yeah. Unless he could make like a physical, and that's the thing, it's not that. Like if he would be like, you know, a necromancer at that point, if he was able to trick all those sensors. So.
Yeah. So when a fight script is written, it is originally written with like as much as we can fit into it as possible, and it does sometimes have to be kind of trimmed down a bit for time constraints. So that was one element that I was looking at the page numbers and how long this fight was going, and I was like, we might need to cut something out just so that we can get this done in time. The invisibility thing is something we've covered in Death Battle multiple times at this point, and it essentially adds nothing to the fight, so I might as well take it out. Because it just really wasn't a big deal for either of the characters, at least in this scenario.
Honestly, whenever when that part was in the fight script, it was kind of used as like a little bit of a joke because they both go invisible and then they both notice each other and then like realize it wasn't worthless. It was worthless to him, and then they both started fighting again. So like, you know.
Yeah.
That was.
Oh, here's a question that I saw a lot of people asking. Since Terry lifts a boulder, right? And we calculated that the boulder's over 200 tons, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people were asking, but it's underwater, so shouldn't it be lighter?
Yeah, water has anti-gravitational properties.
We literally talk about calculating for the buoyancy in that sentence as well. So
Yeah, in the episode we specify that we took buoyancy into account. So you know. But anyway,
I'm not laughing like at that guy or whoever wrote that, but that's hilarious. That's super funny.
How did Terry blow a hole in a suit that can withstand a howitzer?
That's a good question, and that's kind of something that I think is hard for a lot of people to see because they're like, oh, like mortar shield, that's real strong now. And that's how Miguel claims the suit, and I'm not saying his claim is wrong, but then in that exact comic, in that exact arc, I think it's 12 comics later, I think it's 12 comic arc, he dies by getting stabbed in that suit. So like that's just kind of the point of it. Like in a howitzer is like the shell is large and has but like a puncture is much different. And so I mean that's the thing. If he wasn't killed just a few issues later by getting stabbed, it could have been way different. But that was proof enough that the suit can be penetrated by sharp puncturing objects.
I was just about to say,
and
like,
that's what batarangs are. So
even with like,
especially batarangs, like his Batman Beyonds go like straight into steel. Like they're very sharp. So
But isn't it also like a difference between like a big explosion and a more compact explosion? Like, couldn't there be like a difference?
Well, it's more
couldn't
so
it be like a difference in power?
a difference in explosion and force.
Okay.
Because a howitzer shell that is, for all intents and purposes, like a giant bullet. It's a giant thing hitting you with like a raw impact. An explosion is a bunch of tiny shells.
This is the heat transfer, of course.
Broad expanse of heat. A blast from a center point. And also, he's been stabbed multiple times by the batarangs. It's kind of, there is, my thought when I was reading that in the script was, could the suit even be blown apart because it's got that like, what was it called?
Unstable molecular fabric.
Yeah, because that keeps it from being torn apart by his talons. So could the suit even be blown apart by that? Which is why we kind of went with just a hole in his chest rather than the whole thing getting
and the thing that's weird is that suit with the unstable molecular fabric, I believe is what it's called. Not that one, but the last suit, which is made of the same fabric.
Plus Kevlar.
The new one just has Kevlar weave in it. The old one's made of the same unstable material.
Kevlar alone can't stop howitzer shell, so I don't know how that all translates, but okay.
But the old
That's
suit,
all right.
like he falls down into, in his world, New York has like a bottom level. He falls into the bottom level and like cuts his suit up and stuff. And on multiple occasions, his suit gets cut. Like, I think that was a weird thing that those writers did. They kind of played it loose and fast with that. Like they were like, and today is fabric rips. And then the next day they were like, it's unrippable. And it's just like, I don't know.
Also, people tend to like.
But it ripped a lot, so.
People tend, I think, give Kevlar a lot more credit than it deserves.
It's an easy out for armor.
I'm not a Kevlar scientist. But,
well, I get like its properties and its purpose, whatever. But like every time someone like gets hurt or gets cut and they're not supposed to, they're like, oh, that's not supposed to happen because he has Kevlar. He has Kevlar pants on.
I'm pretty sure how Kevlar does work, especially in the
Kevlar
sense
shoulder
of, like,
pads.
how it works in the sense of like stopping bullets. Like a Kevlar vest that can stop a bullet won't stop a knife, I'm pretty sure, is how that works.
There was actually a whole debacle on YouTube for a while there because there was like a weapons channel, like a blade channel or something like that was showing how a knife can go through a Kevlar vest. And for some reason, some media outlets picked it up and portrayed it as he's showing how to kill a police officer. When in actuality, he was just demonstrating that there's a flaw with the Kevlar suits that the police officers wear. So then the whole YouTube channel was taken down. There was a big controversy about that. I
didn't hear about that. That's messed up.
That's
it was
awful.
a while ago.
It's really messed up.
Awful.
But yeah, point is, Kevlar is not a magic shield.
Yeah, no. And then, okay. I think one last kind of big wrap-up question that leads to a couple others is the whole idea of the no outside help rule. What happened to that?
You take that.
I thought we tossed that aside in Dante vs. Bayonetta.
Well, that's a completely different situation.
I thought we tossed that aside doing Sam vs. Snake.
The no outside help rule has never been as simple as that.
Power Rangers vs. Voltron.
What?
What was the?
I think the point is that these two are more so with their assistants. Like that's the team. Batman Beyond is a combo kind of, and like
here's the way I've always looked at it: is if you can argue very clearly that this character or this assistant is part of the arsenal of that character, then it should be included. Because we've run into situations earlier where Strider is a good example. I know that seems to come out of nowhere, but Strider, when we were doing him versus Ryu Hayabusa, he has these like robot cats that attack and robot birds and things like that that seem to have their own sentience. So do they count as outside help? Are they their own things? Like, do we include that in the fight? And yes, we do, because that's part of his arsenal.
Yeah, they're not just like, it's not like his robot cats aren't just fucking random cats walking around.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh shit, they're fighting. I'm gonna help this guy out. And then,
but that's because they're there to help him. He controls them. He has an ability to choose what to do with them. So therefore, they are part of his arsenal, even if they are a sentient thing. Right. Bruce Wayne on the mic or Lila on Miguel's communicator, that's part of their arsenal. That's part of their like tool set.
Sure.
I think tool set's probably better than a better word for than arsenal. That's just something that they always use. That's something that's always there for them, for their own purpose. And that's the idea behind that. Voltron, Power Rangers, that's 5 people in each suit. That's because it's part of the tool set.
Sure.
Solid Snake has Otacon helping him out with recon and stuff like that. That's part of the tool set.
But Robin is not part of Batman's tool set.
Right. Robin is his own character that does his own thing. Even when they're out on missions together, they're doing their own things.
Yeah.
So he's not part of the tool set.
Even with that said, though, like it's still them there in the bar fighting. Like if me and Sam are fighting in a bar and Nick's in my ear helping me, or Ben's in your ear helping you, we're still the ones in the bar fighting. Like it's only gonna go so far.
And
plus my advice would be terrible.
Probably.
I'd be working against Torian, if anything.
For these kind of support roles, you could always make the argument that but we want to see them without the support role because the support role could be
Sure.
taken away and you still have the character themselves. Even going back to Strider, you could take the robot cats out and you could still have Strider.
That'd be weird.
Even though that'd be weird.
Would anything change outcome-wise in this fight?
That's the next question. So would anything change if Lila and Bruce were out of it? No.
I don't think so.
And the main reason why I think is because Lila gives Miguel more of an advantage than Bruce gives Terry. And
Most
Miguel still
definitely.
won. Or
Funny
lost.
enough, though, if it was a detective fight, Lila's like the jam at that because she can completely analyze entire rooms full of like data and scenarios. It would make a difference in that one, but not in an actual fight. Like,
A detect-off?
It was a
yeah, if it was a
detective fight.
detect-off, it would make a big difference, but not in the actual fight, I'm afraid.
Sure. Yeah. She just has a lot more to offer to Miguel than because Bruce is more so a mentor for Terry in terms of, behind the scenes, like training him, like guiding him through.
The main thing he really offers is like insane detective skills.
Right.
And that doesn't necessarily help in a fight, except for when Bruce does help him find weaknesses and stuff.
Right. I was gonna say probably the most you could say that Bruce gave him that Miguel wouldn't have necessarily the advantage over is he would deduce the flashbang weakness.
Well,
faster
and
than
just
maybe
like
Terry
telling
would.
him to take him to the ground, like he does.
Yeah,
So, like that is something that is in line with Bruce's character. He's like he'll recognize that, like, hey, you're like that's not where you should be fighting.
But at the same time, in the comics, later Terry loses Bruce essentially. They find him later, but whatever. And he's operating on his own.
Yeah.
So he can still do all this stuff without Bruce.
Yeah, he's a pretty damn good detective in his own right.
Yeah.
Maybe not Bruce Wayne good, or Batman good, but yeah.
Well, he is Batman.
Exactly. Yeah.
He said it so
Still,
at the end of the
Said
rundown.
so.
Yeah, but
I heard him.
Bruce Wayne's still Batman too.
It's a bunch of bad-
Suppose. All right. Is anything else you'd like to cover before
I
we
think
wrap
that's
that up?
about
It
all.
was good.
That's it. Yeah.
No, I can think of. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys watching the Death Battle episode. And Sephiroth versus Virgil is going to be our next one, our big season finale. Nick is handling that, and Torian is handling the animation.
Y'all excited?
I just want to see how long he's gonna stay.
He
Whoa.
sure seems excited.
I am excited.
Torian's animating. I'm writing it.
It looks it's so pretty.
That's what I just said.
It's so pretty.
Are you
Okay.
complimenting your own work?
No, it's so pretty. They had a bunch
That's
of
a
like
good time to say bye.
No, we got to come up with a community death battle
Ah,
first.
son of a bitch! I
That's
always
what I was
forget.
leading into.
Virgil versus Sephiroth.
No.
Yeah.
See what
We had one
see
the
what the
other day.
audience thinks and how many of
What
them
are you
are
talking
wrong.
What were we talking about the other day? We had one, and we were like, we should bring that up on the cast because
Oh,
was it the Thing versus
Thing versus Solomon
Red
Grundy.
M&M versus
Thing
Blue
versus
M&M.
No.
no, it's Thing versus Solomon Grundy.
I don't even know what you said, but yeah. So yeah, we were talking about it. If you are a first member, you can check out the commentary track for Batman vs Spider-Man 2099. I believe it's out right now. Yeah, it's definitely out right now. And we mentioned we have this brief little aside where we talk about the Thing because Spider-Man took a hit from the Thing, and we were thinking who could be a good matchup for him, and maybe Solomon Grundy. I don't know.
We'll leave that to you guys to tell us.
So, Fraggable Crunk.
Teach us.
Yeah, let's,
Fraggable Crunk. There you
yeah. Okay.
From Dexter's Laboratory.
No, Thing versus Solomon Grundy.
Okay, fine,
You can
fine.
let us know. Let us know
Harley
who you
Pooper.
think wins using the hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter, and we will take your answers and discuss it next week. All right.
Now bye. Okay.
Yeah, now is bye.
Bye.
Bye.